What is going on YouTube? Today we're going to do a quick video on upgrading the storage on the new 3DS XL. At the moment I currently have, if you go over to settings, system settings, click that, and you go over to data management, Nintendo 3DS, and we do software. It'll tell you that we have 26,883 blocks available, and this is with the 4 gig SD card that comes packaged with the system when you buy it. So what we're going to do today is we're going to upgrade that with a SanDisk, if my camera focuses. We're going to be upgrading that with a SanDisk Ultra 64 gig Class 10 U1 card. So what we're going to do is go ahead and power the system off. Go ahead and power it off. Make sure the blue light is off. And then we're going to go ahead and unscrew the 2 jeweler screws on the back. And also you're going to go ahead and get the case off without damaging it on each end to make sure you don't damage it. There's some little nubs here, little grooves, and you want to use the back of your stylus pen to actually fit it in these grooves and pry up away from the housing, and it just keeps the sides from getting damaged. So I'm going to do that real quick. Alright, once you have the back open, you'll see the SD card here. It's spring loaded. It only will go in one way, basically the same way the picture shows it going into the 3DS. So you want to go ahead and press on the spring. It'll pop up because again it's spring loaded. You slide the 4 gig one out that they gave you, and you want to be in front of your laptop or computer or whatever. You use your micro SD card adapter, you plug that in, and what we're going to do is we're going to take this, pop it into the computer, and you'll see the folder open up on the computer. I'll try to zoom in here. And as you can see inside the folder, inside my SD card, as you can see here, make that small. Inside the SD card there, you can see it says Nintendo 3DS. So what you're going to do is you're going to take that and drag it over to your desktop because you want to copy everything in that folder. You're not going to change the name of the folder. You're not going to change anything in the folder. The structure of it, nothing. You're just going to drag and drop from the folder, from the 4 gig SD card off of that just came out of your 3DS. You're going to drag the contents of that folder over. Don't change the name. Again, this is very important. Don't change anything on that card. Leave it exactly as it is, especially if you have some content that was already written to the 3DS, which I did, because I didn't get the card automatically to upgrade the storage. Once you do that, you're going to close it out. You're going to right click, let me move the camera down. You're going to right click on this and go down to eject, because you don't want to just take it out because you'll damage the SD card, and we don't want to do that. So you're going to go ahead and eject it. Put that aside. Now you're going to take your 64 gig SD card and pop it into your full size adapter, unless your system can read micro SD cards, which most laptops don't have it. So you want to use your adapter. You're going to plug that in. You're going to wait for that to be recognized. It should pop up automatically, just like that. You shouldn't have any issues. Now what we're going to do is we're going to format that, because the 3DS can only read FAT32. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a special program. We're going to use a program called Easy US Partition Master. And it's free, so we'll go ahead and launch the application. And as soon as that starts up, you want to actually look on this screen for your SD card. You don't want to click anything else, because I actually have a solid state drive on my laptop, so you'll see both of them pop up there. So you can see disk 1 and disk 2. The gateway is my actual drive that's on my laptop. You don't want to touch that, because you'll mess your whole system up. So you want to go down to disk 2, which is the 64 gig, and you'll roughly, sometimes you won't see the full capacity of it, you'll see a rough estimate of it, because it always uses some space on there from whatever you had it in, because this came from my Moto X Pure Edition. I actually took it out of there because I'll talk on that in a few minutes. I actually upgraded to a faster card for my Moto X, because Moto X couldn't use this. It just couldn't use a U1 card. It had to use a class 10 U3 card. It needed a much faster card, so I actually upgraded to that one. So the slower U1 card is going into my 3DS class 10. So what we want to do here is we're going to right click it, and you're going to see it says format partition right there, and we're going to go ahead and format that. You're going to see it says, when you click on that, it's going to ask you right there, formatting the partition will destroy the data on the partition. You're going to see partition label. You can label it if you want. If you don't have to. What we're aiming for is our file system to be changed to FAT32. Our cluster size, from what I've read online, 32 kilobytes is fine, and most people did 64 kilobits. That's fine as well. I'm going to leave it at 32, and we're going to try, because I haven't tried this. I'm just going off of what people said online. So my screw up, you'll be able to see it firsthand if it works or if it doesn't. So we're going to leave it at 32. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. Then we're going to go ahead and hit apply at the top, and it's going to ask me if I want to apply these changes. You can zoom in here. It's asking me if I want to apply these changes. What I did was I clicked this button up here. I clicked apply, this button right there. You can see me circling around it up there. This one up here, just in case people that's really blind and can't see what I'm pointing at. So again, we're going to go ahead and click on apply changes. We're going to go ahead and let that do its thing. That shouldn't take that long at all. It should take really no time at all to format the card. Now it lets you know that it's finished. It gives you a little pop-up because it's finished, and this program is free, so it gives you a few pop-ups. Once that's done, we can exit out of Ease US. Exit out. And then we're going to go to our SD card on our actual desktop. Right-click it. Go down to Properties. Hit Properties, and just make sure that the file system, the computer, is reading it at FAT32. Properties, that's my SD card, and it's reading it as a FAT32. So that means it it formatted it as it should. We click OK. We right-click again, and we go down to eject. Hit eject. Make sure the card ejected. Card's ejected. So now we remove it from our laptop. We take the SD card out of the full-size adapter. Take it out. Try not to handle the card on the contacts. A lot of people don't mention this. Try not to handle the card on the contacts because it will, your oils and deposits from your hand get on there and it screws up the card, and sometimes it'll also cause the card not to read. Now we're going to go ahead and put it back in our system. Remember, we formatted it for FAT32 at 32 kilobit clusters. So now we're going to, before you put anything back on, we're going to turn it on to make sure that it took. So we're going to go ahead and power the DS on. If it doesn't take, we'll try 64-bit clusters, but for the most part, it should. Now we go back in system settings. It's saying it's creating a home menu. So we're going to go back in system settings. System settings, it's going to go ahead and boot up. We go into data management, Nintendo 3DS. We're going to go ahead and go to software, and it's checking, and as you can see right there, we have our new 64 gig. Now we had 26,883, I believe, if I remember correctly, and we have a 64 gig card in there, and just like that, 487,077 blocks available. So now I have almost quadrupled my storage space on my 3DS XL in a matter of seconds. If you follow these steps, there should be no problem. From what I understand, the cards that work and the cards that I've seen work are SanDisk. So far I've seen all SanDisk cards work. I've tried to use Samsungs are shit. They do not work with this method. I've tried a 64 gig Samsung card and it will not work. For some reason Nintendo does not like SanDisk. If you want, you can try the Lexor cards that came with it and find a 64 gig version, class 10 Lexor card, or even a class 4, because this is a class 4. It doesn't really make a difference what speed the card is. It works. A class 10 card isn't going to make the games run any faster. It's Nintendo, not Sony. So it's not going to speed the games up or make the performance of the games even faster. So you can get a class 4, 64 gig, or 128. Follow this method and it will work. So we know Lexor works, class 10 all the way up to 128 gigs. And we also know that SanDisk works, class 10, class 4, from 4 gigs all the way up to 128. Follow this method and you should work. Leave comments. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. If it worked for you, give it a thumbs up. If it didn't work for you, give it a thumbs down. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, if this method worked for you. Like I said, 28,883 with the 4 gig. Now we have 487,000 with the 64 gigs. So that's a ton of games off the eShop. I have physical copies, but from now on I'll be purchasing digital copies so I don't have to carry around a crap ton of games. Let me know what you guys think. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And thank you guys so much for watching the video. Stay tuned for more videos like this. And thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.